Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas, and today we're going to be talking about 4 different AI SEO tips when it comes to using ChatGPT, when it comes to ranking fast in ChatGPT. These tips are very up to date for this new year, 2026. So if you're watching this in 2026 and you're excited to implement some new creative SEO strategies for your website, then this is the video for you. And over here in Excalibur, I have 4 different yellow badges or stickers, whatever you want to call them. And underneath each one, I have the 4 tips that I'm going to talk about. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So the first one over here is build a niche news engine on your site. So basically you create a dedicated news page on your website or news section that publishes frequent niche specific news recaps. This makes your domain always relevant in that niche, which helps both Google and LLM citations, right? Because LLM citations at the end of the day are looking for the most recent information, but also the most also valuable that in terms of helping the user search intent. So naturally, having a news section that comes out with recent news is very important to match this. So creative strategy here would be, create 3 repeating story formats. So every post looks intentional, not random. What happened, why it mattered, what to do next. So let's say, for example, you run some type of software startup that, has some type of AI integration. And one day, there's a new feature that comes out, a new model from Google, let's say Gemini 4 comes out, and also, for example, new ChatGPT GPT-6 comes out, for example. And these are both stunning news that have to do with your product as well. So what happened? This came out. Why it matters? Well, it matters because this is improving the product and basically eventually improving your or the industry or the user's life in a specific way. As you can see, they gave us this Pokemon release one. So latest Pokemon releases, collabs, scandals, drops, events. So all of these can be like different sources of news that all lead to one internal link. And these large language models love hubs because they look like curated knowledge. And actually a very easy way of creating news articles with AI without having to go through these complicated workflows with popular LLMs like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, you can use rval.com, which rval is like the specialized SEO agent, and you can create news articles. For example, you can search for a specific query and you give it that keyword. Let's say, for example, Elon Musk or Elon Musk visits Bali. And then it basically creates an article for you with real-time information and with external links to different articles that talk about that. And if you have your site connected to rval, you can automatically link your different call to actions to your products or to your services from that generated blog post. Now, the next thing that we have here is turn niche YouTube videos into written articles. YouTube is heavily cited by LLMs, so convert videos in your niche into blog posts. Again, if we're using this, for example, this method of being some type of software that uses AI, maybe you have a bunch of different tutorials, or you have a community manager that is making a bunch of different tutorials and streams, educational streams about the product on a daily basis, and they upload it all to YouTube. Well, it would be a wise idea to turn that content into written content, and basically using that same method, creating like a hub, because again, LLMs love hubs because they look like curated knowledge. So embed the original video, then publish the cleaned, structured version on your site. The transcript that's actually usable. Don't just rewrite transcripts. Make your post the version of an AI wants a site. So add a TLDR, then key takeaways, then a decision table, then FAQ. Make every post answerable in snippets. Obviously, you want to satisfy the user search intent and run a channels map. Pick 5 to 10 channels that dominate your niche. So obviously this is optional. You could pick a bunch of channels that, going back to this Gemini 3 thing, you can choose a bunch of different creators that talk about this and eventually create more blog posts related to that. But you can also choose with one channel and basically use your YouTube videos and convert them into blog posts. And again, another very useful feature inside of rval, YouTube to blog posts. Again, just enter that YouTube video URL. You can enter any URL that you want. For example, we can enter a video from my good friend Vasco Monteiro, and basically what we do is we can go down here and we can edit the input. We can edit the content to be English or Spanish or whatever language you want. Edit the formatting, do all of this, and then eventually you can generate that article. And then once that article is generated, this, for example, is just an example of my YouTube. You have the title, you have the actual video that I got it from, and you have the whole content. And again, you can just like highlight specific sections, rewrite them. You can add external links if you wanted to, and so on and so forth, and then eventually publish the article to your page. Now, the next thing that we have here, if we go in here, fix technical SEO, speed, schema, titles, canonicals, alt text. Technical SEO is non-negotiable. You can have all of this fancy setup, but if your technical SEO sucks, it's not going to work. It says add proper schema, clean meta title descriptions, handle canonicals, image, alt text, etc. So you want to add an FAQ schema, add article blog posting schema to posts for product, service, and pages, add the most relevant schema types. And going back into Arval, if you go under site optimizers, you can actually add your own website. So I added, for example, arval.com's website, and it analyzed all the 98 pages from that website. And you can view all of this information. You have page titles, meta description, canonical URLs, image, alt text, FAQ schemas, all here, so that you can actually go ahead and easily edit everything, or you can ask the AI to edit it for you. Now, the final thing here inside of Excalibur, write competitor pages, comparison and alternatives aggressively. So let's say you have your software company, right? Let's just get this guy, and you have different competitors, right? Let's say that you're the blue guy, but your competitor is red, right? Red, and then the other one is yellow, and then the other one over here is green, right? So all of you might share a few different features, right? You have probably over here, let's get a little marker. You have feature 1, you have feature 2, you have feature 3, feature 4, feature 5, and all of these share these different features. So what you can do is you can make a blog post, a blog article about each feature. So this is the feature name over here. And then it'll be startup 1, startup 2, startup 3, and then startup 4 being yours, being the best one. And obviously some type of call to action at the bottom. So publish X versus Y and best alternatives to X, pages that are extremely detailed. If you cover competitors better than they do, you can rank for their terms and capture bottom of funnel traffic. So creative strategy, build competitor utilities, not just articles. So calculator, selector quiz, pricing breakdown table, migration checklist. I think the pricing breakdown table is actually a really good idea here. These might be a little bit harder, like it would take a little bit more time. Maybe a calculator might be a good one as well, because you can like vibe code it. For example, instead of PayPal fees explained, do PayPal fee calculator or fee table by country. These are pretty interesting, right? So they're using these different utilities rather than just describing text. So competitor pricing calculator versus ROI estimators versus feature matrix, a bunch of cool ideas that you can eventually implement to put your brand, compare your other brands and put your brand above your competitors. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about the topics that we covered today, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd be happy to help you. And again, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.